In Wyoming, a state known for its rugged independence and deep-rooted sense of community, the relationship between elected officials and their constituents is often personal and direct. Here, politics isn't just a distant affair, it's woven into the fabric of daily life. On a brisk evening, a dramatic town hall unfolded at Casper College, drawing residents from across the region who were eager to make their voices heard. Congresswoman Harriet Hageman, a staunch Trump ally and a familiar face in Wyoming politics, faced a direct and unfiltered confrontation with her voters, many of whom felt their concerns had gone unanswered for too long. The meeting, intended as a forum for open discussion, quickly spiraled out of control. Tensions rose, and the event ended abruptly, with Hageman leaving the stage to a chorus of boos and shouts from the crowd. The audience, frustrated and eager for answers on pressing issues like healthcare, education, and the economy, grew increasingly restless as the evening wore on. As questions began, a wave of public anger swept aside Hageman's prepared talking points. Residents demanded real solutions, not rehearsed responses. Constituents demanded accountability and transparency, refusing to settle for partisan blame games or vague promises. Their voices echoed a growing impatience with political rhetoric. With only minutes left and many questions still unanswered, Hageman exited the stage, leaving behind a room filled with frustration, disappointment, and a sense of betrayal. This wasn't just a policy disagreement, it was a complete breakdown in communication between a representative and the people she was elected to serve. The incident highlighted a larger frustration simmering within the electorate, a sense that their voices are too often ignored or dismissed by those in power. In Wyoming, and across America, politics is local. Accountability isn't just a slogan, it's a demand that can be made anywhere, from the largest cities to the smallest towns. The image of a politician fleeing their own event is powerful, a stark reminder of the consequences when leaders fail to listen. In the end, it was more than just a heated meeting. It was a symptom of a larger demand for answers, met with a slammed door and a community left waiting for real dialogue. The anger in Casper stemmed from tragic events in Minneapolis. Two citizens, Alex Preddy and Renee Good, were killed by federal immigration agents. These deaths raised questions about federal power and citizen safety. A student at the town hall asked why Hageman remained silent on these tragedies. Hageman called the deaths tragic but deflected, saying it wasn't the day's topic. The audience found this unsatisfactory, seeing it as an evasion. They were concerned about federal overreach and its fatal consequences. Hageman's silence was seen as complicity, not neutrality. The deaths were a test of leadership, and Hageman appeared to fail. Her constituents wanted moral voices against injustice. The incident highlighted a divide between political goals and public demands. Hageman's response was seen as political expediency over empathy. The confrontation deepened with Elise Taylor's pointed legal questions. She was relentless, her voice unwavering as she demanded answers. Taylor challenged Hageman, a constitutional lawyer, on Fourth Amendment violations. She cited specific cases and legal precedents, leaving no room for ambiguity. Hageman dismissed Taylor's facts, sparking audience outrage. The crowd's frustration was palpable, their voices rising in unison. The Congresswoman seemed to brush aside constitutional concerns. Her dismissive attitude only fueled the audience's anger. Taylor pressed on, questioning Hageman's loyalty to the Constitution. She demanded to know where Hageman's true allegiances lay. The audience applauded Taylor's persistence, signaling agreement. Their support was a testament to her compelling arguments. Hageman's detached response fell flat in a room demanding action. Her lack of empathy was evident and did not sit well with the crowd. Taylor's retort, "Then why is there no redress?" resonated with the crowd. Her words echoed the sentiments of many in the room. The exchange became a public cross-examination of Hageman's principles. It was clear that Taylor was not backing down. The Congresswoman was losing the constitutional argument in public opinion. Her discomfort was visible as the debate intensified. The audience felt systems of accountability had failed. Their disappointment was directed at the perceived lack of justice. Hageman's political loyalty seemed to override her constitutional duty. This conflict was not lost on the audience. The incident highlighted a disconnect between Hageman and her constituents. The gap between their expectations and her actions was widening. The constitutional lawyer was losing the argument in the court of public opinion. The audience's support for Taylor was a clear indication of where their loyalties lay. The situation reached a breaking point. Hageman, cornered by tough questions and boos, decided to end the town hall. She packed up quickly, signaling the conversation was over. Her abrupt exit was met with shouts of "Coward" from the crowd. The audience felt abandoned mid-sentence, their questions unanswered. The image of Hageman fleeing was a defining moment. It highlighted a failure to listen to constituents, even when questions were tough. The empty stage symbolized a void in communication and accountability. The walkout was more than awkward, it was a defining event. Optics matter in politics, and this image will likely follow her. It underscored a fundamental disconnect with the people she represents. The Casper Town Hall was not an isolated incident for Hageman. It fits a pattern of contentious meetings throughout her time in Congress. Past encounters show frustration building across Wyoming on various issues. In Pinedale, she was booed for defending Trump's tariff strategy. In Laramie, she faced backlash for her stance on climate science and Social Security. These incidents reveal a disconnect between Hageman's positions and her constituents. The Casper walkout was the latest manifestation of this tension. Polls show a majority of Wyomingites believe in climate change, contradicting her views. The anger is not new, nor confined to a single issue. Hageman repeatedly finds herself at odds with her constituents in public forums. The Casper event highlighted ongoing and unresolved tensions. Understanding Hageman's actions requires examining her political ambitions, which have shaped her every move on the public stage. Her rise in Wyoming politics has been marked by calculated decisions and a keen sense of timing, always with an eye on the next opportunity. A rising star in the MAGA movement, she has positioned herself as a champion of Trump's agenda, and now she sets her sights on a coveted Senate seat. Her alignment with the former president has given her a powerful platform and a loyal following among the Republican base. Hageman's political identity was forged in a high-profile primary against Liz Cheney, a contest that drew national attention and defined her as a staunch conservative, willing to challenge the establishment. With Trump's enthusiastic endorsement, she ousted Cheney, cementing her status as a loyalist and signaling to voters that she would carry forward the MAGA torch in Washington. Now, with a Senate seat open, Hageman has officially announced her candidacy, hoping to translate her momentum and name recognition into a statewide victory. Her primary audience remains the pro-Trump base, a group energized by her rhetoric and unwavering support for the former president. She rarely seeks out more diverse town hall crowds, instead focusing on energizing her core supporters. This explains her reluctance to criticize Trump policies, even when those policies have led to controversial or tragic outcomes. Hageman's strategy is to avoid alienating the voters she needs most. Her dismissive responses at town halls may have been carefully calculated, a way to sidestep tough questions and maintain her standing with the MAGA faithful, even if it means frustrating other constituents. However, the Casper incident reveals the risks of this strategy. When faced with a broader audience, her approach can backfire, leading to public backlash and negative headlines. A general election requires broader appeal, and her actions and words at these events could easily be used against her by opponents seeking to paint her as out of touch with everyday Wyomingites. Her ambition requires balancing her MAGA credentials with the responsibility of representing all Wyomingites, not just the most vocal supporters. This is a delicate act that will define her political future. The Casper event showed she failed to strike that balance, highlighting the challenges she faces as she seeks to move from a partisan figure to a statewide leader. The Wyoming drama reflects broader turmoil in the Republican Party. Despite holding a majority, the GOP faces infighting and low morale. Reports from Washington depict a party struggling with direction and leadership. This national backdrop explains pressures on politicians like Hageman. Morale is low, with members feeling disposable and unsupported. Predictions of more resignations loom, adding to instability. Many Republicans are leaving Congress for gubernatorial bids. This exodus suggests serving in Congress has become thankless and frustrating. The pressure to maintain loyalty while facing angry voters takes its toll. Internal strife leads to policy paralysis, forcing defense of unpopular actions. The Casper incident is a local eruption of a national problem. It highlights a party struggling with identity, leadership, and governance. The chaotic end to the Casper Town Hall was more than political drama. It was a snapshot of the fragile relationship between officials and the public. Hageman's exit left constituents feeling ignored and disrespected. The incident exposed a crisis of accountability, with evasion replacing answers. Constituents demanded accountability on life and death issues. Hageman's failure to engage signaled a breakdown in democratic representation. The event suggests a political strategy prioritizing loyalty over duty. This approach erodes trust and widens the gap between people and power. The Casper incident is a lesson for voters and politicians. Accountability is a constant demand, not just an election day event. The town hall attendees expected dialogue, not a monologue and exit. As Hageman campaigns for the Senate, the shouts in that auditorium will echo.